Honorable Speaker, while we agree with the opening opposition, we really think you have a beautiful line about the representation and the philosophical point of achieving and creating some sort of ideal. We believe that basically, as we already pointed out, that basically there are two main groups that receive this message, that are relevant to receiving this message. The first is future humans. The second is extraterrestrials. We're going to talk about these two groups and why we believe that the impact this specific message is going to have to them is horrendous. We believe that the message to humans today is, as we mentioned in the POI, slightly less important given the fact that none of us knew what was on the Voyager except Monica before this debate, before the info slide. So I'm going to discuss these two clashes. First of all, a few points of extraneous survival to what we heard from closing argument. First of all, they tell us that their basic line says the following thing. That they basically tell us, look, we are obligated to their autonomy, therefore we are obligated to provide them with full information. First of all, we don't know why we are even obligated to their autonomy. We don't know it because, first of all, they are basically so different from us that we do not think we have even the same moral obligations we have towards other human beings, other biological life forms. Notice, however, that even when we have that other humans, we also acknowledge that we can lie to them. We also acknowledge we can break their autonomy. Note that we can declare war on another country under a status quo if it fits our interest, if it's on our self-defense. Obviously, we can sometimes slightly skew the information given to some life form 2 million years away that we have never met. Now, notice besides that point, that even if we fully acknowledge what they're telling us, and we say that a lie is bad to an extent. If we show you that that not lying will be even worse in terms of our interaction with these aliens, even worse in fact in terms of the choices these aliens are likely to make, then obviously we don't need to uphold this. But notice, moreover, that we tell you specifically that this information will be misinterpreted by them. Therefore, the fact this is not a lie, this is giving them something, this is not giving them something that's likely to make their decision worse than it would have been with no information at all. Therefore, again, not something we have to that's actually a problem. Then the second speaker tells us, but we're going to have a stronger message when we acknowledge that we've done both good and bad things. First of all, we got no analysis of why this is actually likely to be a better message. Second of all, opening opposition already told you that Voyager does have things like, we have done bad things in the past and we have overcome them, therefore we don't think that, we think that all the benefits of this message already exist. Then they tell us, in reply to our extension, they say, but not everybody is going to treat this and interpret this in the same way. No. And this is the crucial thing that stuff brings to you. These are biological beings. They are living beings. If they did not have an instinctive fear of death, they would not have continued living. This is the most basic fact of life, because staying alive is harder than dying. Therefore, if you're not afraid of death, if you don't have some sort of instinct to say, I do not want to die, I fear death, then likely these things would not have been alive. Therefore, we say it is 99.9% likely that these things are going to interpret disinterred bodies, dying things, signs of agony as something terrible, as a threat to them. Notice also we got no reply to our analysis about future human beings, which I'm getting into right now more in the first class. So about future human beings, because obviously this is we all agree in this debate that while we don't know if extraterrestrials exist, these are the people we know will sometime receive this message. We know that there will be future human beings. We know that the Earth will not last forever. We know that this is a population that's important to impact. Now, open government start by telling us that we need to give them exact information. We need to give them accurate information in order to repeat the mistakes of the past. What we say to this is, obviously, the question is, how will people treat this information? Because obviously, the records in the Voyager don't have data about, for example, the economic structures in South America, in the south of the USA that led to slavery. Obviously, you don't have enough of an information there in order to be able even to repair the mistakes of the past. This is not the intent of the Voyager's opening opposition already tell you. Now, opening give us a good line about why it's illegitimate to track humanity in the framework of a certain generation. What Staff adds to that critically is the way people treat something that they view as their heritage. Because people will see, basically people first of all see this as a message from the past, as something their ancestors wanted to tell them and wanted to convey to them. It's actually, the Voyager itself is like to be seen as a relic for these people because it's something that comes from the ancient time and likely the only thing to survive from that ancient time. So we say that, first of all, people treat their heritage as an example, something they need to imitate. Moreover, they treat it as a basis for their morality, like stuff gives the Bible. The Bible, although it contains terrible things, we see it as a basis for our morality because it's something that came from the past, because it's what our ancestors did. Note, if people want to commit genocide in this future time, it will be so much easier to say we're imitating what our ancestors did. We're doing what they did. Note, Hitler himself actually took Aryan traditions, invented Aryan traditions in order to say, yes, this is what our ancestors did. This is what we did in the past. This exact same thing is likely to happen here. We're saying we're making it much, much worse for them. Before I go on, close.
So, what you're saying is that when a person does something that is incredibly horrible, why is the reaction from another person now going to be, I am also going to commit that horrible thing, rather than probably I
Thank you,
shouldn't do this?
because it is something that is the only connection they have to their ancestors, because they see this as something they themselves have done, because they see that this is part of their identity. Okay, quickly about extraterrestrials, because I believe stuff covered it pretty well already. Because we say that we got an agreement that we know very little about this. We know very little, but there is one thing that we can know for certain about these beings, and that is the fear of death. Or we can know that very, very likely, to a very, very likely certainty. Therefore, what we say is that if we show them this specific message, if we show them, they can understand that they see what is the difference between a living human being painted there and a dead human being painted there. They can understand a disinterred body. But if they get only this message, they do not understand anything else we're saying, and this is a likely scenario as agreed by the first half. If we see everything else is a gibberish, all they see are bodies and suffering, they are likely to see us as terrible people, they are likely to see us as people who are threatening them, we're likely to have no contact with them, and they are more likely to say, well, if they are still developing their technology, probably it's a better idea to strike first in order to stop these people from ever finding us. We think it's a terrible idea, we beg you to oppose.